I was born and brought into a world of mixed cultures. My mom was a single mother, but with the help of my grandparents, Ama and Apa, and her brothers, it never felt like she was alone. I started talking when I was only 6 months, baby words here and there, but by my 8th month of life, I had already talked a lot. I mostly knew Spanish, but I also knew some basic English like money being my first word, mom, food, or other baby words. All day my mom would work, and I'd stay home with Ama to watch Mexican telenovelas, so you can imagine the kinds of words I picked up. I would go around saying phrases like, "Ay no, yo no quiero comida chatarra." Normally, a 2-year-old doesn't go around saying things like that. When I was 3, I was enrolled in a preschool named St. Paul Lutheran. The only language spoken there was English. I've always had a really outgoing personality, so picking up the language and getting others to understand me wasn't really hard. The first day, though, an older girl went up to me and said, "Aw, you're so pretty." And I answered, fea tú, y tienes granos en las piernas." She asked my mom what I said, and my mom just told her that I had said, "Thank you, you're pretty too." Little did she know I had said the total opposite. Only 1 week into school, and my English had improved a lot. I would go back home and talk to Ama and Apa in English and teach them the nursery rhyme songs I had learned in class. All of this was really great until I began to forget my Spanish. Talking to Ama and Apa became more difficult, and I began to forget who I was. Elementary came and went, and Spanish wasn't involved much in my life. In middle school, being cool was important, and speaking Spanish wasn't cool, so I never spoke it. Ama and Apa were still a very important part of my life, and I would still talk to them, and although I'd have to use signals and ask my mom for certain words, they'd still understand me and tell me, "Recuerda de dónde eres para poder llegar a donde vas." I would just be like, "Okay, Ama." I never knew what she meant, or cared either, but now it makes sense. Going into high school, everything was different. There was a lot of people from Mexico that could barely speak English. They were referred to as fresas, and none of my friends spoke to them. My 8th period consisted of all fresas and myself. For once in my life, I felt that English wasn't important and that I needed to remember my Spanish. They would make fun of me and say how ridiculous it was that my name was Alejandra Sanchez, my family was from San Luis Potosí, and my Spanish was horrible. I would laugh and agree with them, but by the end of the first semester, my Spanish was back and better than ever. I started watching novelas with Ama again, and talk about them in my 8th period as if it was hot gossip. After school, I'd go to cheerleading practice and tell my team how I already wanted to go home and see the novela. The girls would make fun of me, but I didn't care. This was me. High school went by, and everyone would call me their most Mexican friend. I loved it. Every time I'd go over to friends' houses when their grandparents would be there, for the most part they spoke Spanish, and I felt great being able to communicate with them. All of my friends' families loved having me over, and they would tell my friends, "Júntate más con ella, ella sí es como nosotros." My friends slowly began to understand that, and even now, a lot of friends call me to ask Mexican questions, and I always feel so proud to be able to answer them. Though at one point of my life, I forgot who I was and where I came from, now I know I get the best of both worlds. Para poder llegar a donde voy, tengo que recordar de donde soy. Ama was right. Who am I? I am Spanish, English, go to Mexico every weekend, but always come back to America. Cheerleader, who can't wait to go home after practice to watch novelas. I am Alejandra Sanchez.